Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the DropKick Podcast. Today, we have a special guest with us. He is the co-host of the Pro and Bro Podcast, a.k.a. Arnold. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about you guys?
We're good. We're just chilling.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. As I mentioned earlier, before you guys started recording, this is my first official wrestling interview. I've never done any wrestling interviews before, so this is really cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. This is going to be a great episode. We're going to go over the Takeover card for this Sunday. Mike Tyson and Chris Jericho, Matt Riddle's, what he's going to be doing on the main roster. And then, of course, we got some questions for you. If you guys know, Arnold is a co-host with Darren Young, a.k.a. Fred Rosser, on the Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast. So make sure you guys check that out. That is also a great show. And thank you for joining us, man.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, so first off, we feel that it's important that we use our platform to voice our opinion. So before we go into any pro wrestling stuff, we just want to quickly give our opinions on the whole Black Lives Matter protest that's going on. Arnold, what are your thoughts on it? I'd like to ask you first.
Well, it's crazy because obviously, racism has been around forever. The only difference between now and then is now we all have one of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now when it happens, with the simple touch of a button, everyone else can see it. So it definitely gets more exposure, but it's definitely been around. I personally have not been exposed to it myself. I've never had any personal experience with it, so I can't really speak, like too much into it because I know nothing. I'm just learning like everyone else. I'm taking it in. But man, I'm with the movement. I support Black Lives Matter 100%. And all we can do right now is just listen and learn how to become a better ally for our Black brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
I couldn't agree more. Obviously, what happened to George Floyd, it's very sickening. It's very disturbing. All of our prayers are with the Floyd family. Again, I support the movement 100%. I think that it is well needed. And as Arnold said, racism hasn't gotten worse. We just have phones to record it now.
Yeah,
that's what's happening. And now we're finally going to hopefully put an end to it. Obviously, there will never be an official end, but the more we decrease it, the better, the more accepting we all are. So, we're in full support of that. Me personally, I love the peaceful protesting. I'm not fully with all the rioting and the looting and things like that, but that's going to come within almost any protest. So I support the peaceful protest. Actually, my favorite videos I've seen so far are when I've seen a couple cops like take off their gear and they join the peaceful protesters during the walks. I feel like that's very touching.
Yeah. I don't know, like my own personal belief is that, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but me personally, I feel like I can't tell how an African American should protest, because obviously I haven't gone through what they've gone through, so I can't tell them how to act on and is there really like a right way to protest? I don't know. I'm not quite sure if there is,
Right.
And that's just my own personal thing. I know it's a touchy subject, and I know a lot of people feel differently about it. But yes, violence is wrong, but at the same time, I'm not gonna tell them you shouldn't do that because I haven't gone through what they went through.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. Me, for example, I'm brown, so I'm not African American either. And you make a great point there when we talk about how they're protesting, in terms of like we've seen Colin Kaepernick take a kneel during a national anthem peacefully. We've seen many people do peaceful protesting, and it just didn't work. So.
Well, I mean, it's like, they tried taking a knee, and they tried to do it the peaceful way. They didn't like that. They tried many other ways. They didn't like that, and now they don't like this. You know what I mean? So that's why I say I don't think there's a right way to protest, because you're protesting, and it's supposed to shake things up and cause discomfort.
Yeah, you make a great point there. Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't know how to approach the subject because I feel like there was already better videos, and there was it was well said like better than I would ever say it. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I like screwed anything up or whatever, I feel like it's really a touchy subject. Back to what you guys said. So I feel like, and I'm, me being me, I'm like, I don't want to stay quiet about it. I'm like, everyone's saying something. Let's, I'm gonna do my best, get it out there and be like, hey, like I support the Black Lives Matter community and the whole movement. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I really hope like we get like they get justice, and also like the looting and everything. Like it's terrible. Like it's ruining businesses for people who came from like other countries. You know what I mean? So immigrants who came to like America, for let's just say, right, their business is getting like, it's like they're getting looted, and it's sad. You know what I mean? Because they built it from the ground up. So imagine someone breaking in your business and be like, hey, like I'm just gonna steal a couple of your stuff, your figures. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So it's just one of those things.
Definitely, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. But what do you think for the In Your House card on Sunday?
Okay, to be honest with you guys, I don't know the full card, but I just love the whole In Your House NXT Takeover theme. I love, as soon as I saw the logo, like so many nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. Someone, when they first announced that they're doing the NXT In Your House Takeover, people, mainstream fans were like, "Oh, you guys are taking the Lucha House parties."
What? Oh my god!
Oh gosh, I haven't seen that one.
That's.
But what's funny? I was listening to Corey Gray's podcast early this morning, and he had Road Dogg as the guest, and obviously DX is NXT, am I right? Road Dogg, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, hands on and everything. And it's really cool because I don't know if you guys heard it, but Road Dogg was talking about the pay-per-view, not the pay-per-view, but the event. And he was saying that, it's still going to have your classic NXT championship matches, but it's also going to have little moments sprinkled in that gives the whole In Your House feel to it. So the little silliness, like back in the day was Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus the Godwins, and like the slop bucket match and all fun things. They're going to bring a little bit of that back, which is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I hope they have like the old classic set for the In Your House.
I can't imagine them.
I hope so. Yeah.
And that would be really great, but we would ask for like the SmackDown fist and stuff so many times.
Yes. I always love the intro when the fist breaks into the screen, right?
Like the transition.
And it's the ramp. I like that.
Nostalgia.
I don't know, man. For me personally, I've always wanted back like the Ruthless Aggression era Monday Night Raw stage with like the slanted Titantron.
Yeah.
That's always been my stage. I've always loved that one.
Man, that era was packed with so much talent, and it was a whole combination of like Attitude Era and guys from our era right now. And it's like, guys from like Kurt Angle, John Cena, and at one point like Mr. Perfect made a comeback in that era.
2002 or something.
Yeah.
But what were we gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say this card looks pretty decent. We could briefly go over some predictions if you'd like, and I could
why not?
let you know some of the matches on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Finn Balor versus Damien Priest on this card.
Did you? Sorry, go ahead.
I see Damien Priest winning, although I'd prefer Balor.
I personally think Damien Priest too. As some people were thinking if Finn Balor is gonna come out as a demon against Damien Priest.
That would be dope. Yeah.
Right? That would be cool, but I think Finn Balor is kind of rebranding himself. Like people don't want to see him as the old NXT run, the first NXT run Finn Balor, where it's like demon on important matches and Finn Balor and like other matches. I think he just wants to completely rebrand and start his new character and be taken seriously once again, after the whole main roster run. But you're right, man. I think Damien Priest is going to take this one because he's still building on that momentum. And I don't know if you guys saw WWE recently posted like dream matches for In Your House NXT, and they put and the Undertaker's poster. It's like Damien Priest versus the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So just by hearing that, we know they're high on Damien Priest.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Daniel? Who do you see winning that one?
Personally, I'm trying to like Damien Priest. Like I'm gonna be real. I don't see much of him. Like I don't like much of him, if that makes sense. Like I'm trying to get invested in it. And it's just like they're so like they need more personality. You know what I mean? And I guess they're trying to do that, but I don't know, man. I feel like this match is either gonna make Damien Priest or break him. It's one of those situations where it's like, you know, you have such a big platform in your house. Like this is, when was the last time we had this? In the 90s, right? So
96 maybe?
96, 97, yeah. So, you know, having this back, I feel like this is going to break him or make him. And for Finn Balor, I feel like he needs redemption because like you said, Arnold, having that run on the main roster, like it's kind of made him a joke. And we had high hopes, let's be real. We thought he would win back that Universal title right there behind you. You know what I mean? So I feel like both of these guys can, you know, lose a lot and, you know, gain a lot from this. But overall, I think I want to say Damien Priest wins. I want to say he wins, but I want Balor to win this one. You know what I mean? But yeah, we'll see, man.
Where I feel the same. It's kind of like, man, I want this guy to win, but I know he's not.
He's not, yeah. And they pull us a swerve, and they're like, surprise. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. But who's winning the world title? Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole. Yeah, who do you think's winning that one?
You know, I want to say Velveteen Dream because for the past few weeks, well, he's done it actually longer than this. Adam Cole has been proclaiming to be the best NXT champion of all time. And, you know, that's a valid argument because he is the longest reigning NXT champion, right? Am I right on that? Or
you're
right. Okay.
Cole just surpassed him. I'm pretty sure.
But usually people say that, like, people make a claim like that before they lose the championship, you know? So I think it is Velveteen Dream, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement going on. So I think Velveteen's gonna take it.
I think personally he's gonna win, and I think it's been long and overdue. But with the recent like situation surrounding Velveteen Dream, I'm not sure if you're aware of that. Do you know what happened?
No, what happened?
Vikram, can you explain it to
me? All right, we'll try to go over this sensitively. Allegedly, Velveteen
Wait, this is real life? Like
this is real life.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay, so but they kept him on TV, so I'm going to assume that it's being taken care of, but allegedly he had sent some questionable photos to someone on Instagram, and apparently that person was not of age.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he says that the photo was leaked without his consent, though. And this was actually before his original NXT title match with Adam Cole on NXT TV, and they have kept him on TV. So that's why I'm just leaning towards the side of he's getting it taken care of, most likely innocent if they have him on TV still.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we learned with the Enzo Amore situation that you can't just fire someone right away with this because he ended up coming out innocent.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly my first time hearing it. I had no idea that happened, man.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, there was like a voice memo thing because you can send in the DMs or you can send like a voice message now. So he asked like, what school do you go to? And it did not like, to me, in my opinion, like it didn't sound like him. It sounded like a voice box or something. Like it was really... It was really hard to tell it was him, you know what I mean? But I think with the way they handled it, I think they need to put out a statement, you know, claiming that like, hey, he's innocent or you know what I mean? So it gives us like an idea of where everything's at. But
they need to get to the bottom of it real fast. That's no joke.
Like absolutely. If he did it, don't put the title on him.
Absolutely not.
Probably shouldn't have him working in the company whatsoever. But again, like nowadays, I just feel like a lot of false accusations get thrown around for many celebrities. So you got to treat these subjects very sensitively.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You gotta protect kids, you know?
Yeah, sure. I personally think that like, when was the last time they said anything about this? Do you remember, Vikram? Or was it? I think he had it on Instagram that they were taking care of it, right, or something.
Yes, it was Instagram or Twitter. Velveteen released a statement on it himself. This was a few weeks back, so if he's still on the pay-per-view, I'm going to assume that he's had it taken care of, but they need to release a statement so that we all know.
Yeah, sure.
That's true.
But I'm honestly predicting him to win the title as well, because I feel like this situation happened before his title match with Adam Cole on NXT TV, and I feel like he was supposed to win the title then. I don't know why. That's what I anticipated to happen. So I feel like now with the In Your House pay-per-view, he's going to get his hands on the title. Plus, we have all these rumors of Adam Cole going to the main roster. So I'm going with Velveteen.
Wow.
But I heard his deal's coming up in August, like his contract.
Cole?
Yeah, Adam Cole.
Man, I feel like, I mean, of course that would be great for the main roster to have Adam Cole there, but Adam Cole, okay. Yeah, that's okay. I just feel like Matt Riddle and Adam, like the main roster needs to breathe a little bit after bringing Matt Riddle in and just let soak in for a little bit before they bring another huge star NXT, because then it kind of just lessens the impact, in my opinion. Because Matt Riddle has been, to me at least, like he's one of the biggest charismatic characters in NXT, and people associate NXT with Matt Riddle, so it was a big deal that he was in SmackDown because it was such a different look for the main roster. And I just think they need to focus on that for now, and maybe a few months down the line, then give us another like heavy impact with Adam Cole.
Yeah, for sure. I think personally, AEW is gonna offer like a crap ton of money to Adam Cole to get him. You know what I mean? Like I can see that happening.
Club, right? The Bucks.
That would be dope. Yeah. Speaking of titles, Io Shirai's challenging Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, right? So it's a triple threat.
Yeah, triple threat.
Who you guys got winning?
For that too. And they made it really 90s vintage. It was really awesome.
Yeah, I saw that. It was dope. But who you guys got winning for that?
Charlotte, honestly.
Charlotte? Damn.
I think I'm not saying that's the right call, but I'm saying like Charlotte's leading with the championship at the end of the night.
Unfortunately, I have to agree. Charlotte Flair, she's one of the most talented women wrestlers in history, but I really didn't want her in this situation. I really wanted Rhea Ripley to defeat her at WrestleMania and kind of get that rub, you know?
Yeah. I want at least one of the NXT women to win, you know, but they both kind of got squashed a little bit. But I think obviously they're using Charlotte to put more eyes on NXT.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think they're done with that yet. You know, so I think they still want the NXT women division to grow. So I think that's the reason why Charlotte will be leaving with the championship.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick the wild card. I think Io Shirai takes it. You know what I mean? Her first title, and that's who knows?
Too, because it's in your house, and you want like epic moments like that, unexpected moments that could happen.
You know what would be cool if she like moonsaulted off the In Your House set, like close up. That would be so cool, man. I would mark
that would
out.
Be awesome.
Someone's gonna do something with that.
Someone's gonna go insane. Do we have a mixed gender match? Mixed tag team intergender match? Yeah. Keith Lee and.
Oh, it's just Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano.
Oh, I thought it was like mixed intergender wrestling.
No, that was just this past week on NXT. But it's for the title. I would love Keith Lee to retain, but I see Gargano winning it since he just had his heel turn. I'm not gonna lie, Johnny Gargano was my favorite on NXT. So far, I'm not feeling the heel turn quite yet. He could turn it around, but as of right now, I don't know. I'm just getting mixed vibes with it.
Yeah, me too. Be real.
I think Keith Lee should retain because right now he still needs to be looked as a dominant force, kind of like Strowman in the main roster on SmackDown. So I think it's too soon to take the championship off of him. And to be honest, I think Johnny Gargano, he's already made his mark as being the first Grand Slam champion of NXT, that his character and his stardom alone is enough, and he doesn't need a second run for the North American Championship.
Yeah.
I think they just need to keep building and building Keith Lee, and I think they're using Johnny Gargano for that. Not necessarily like they're squashing Johnny, because I feel like at this point Johnny's almost like a Chris Jericho in a sense where he can lose a match and still be okay. But yeah, man, I think he's gonna take it.
Yeah, I think Keith Lee's got this one in the bag. But the most match that I'm hyped for is the Cross versus Ciampa match. I think that's gonna be really good, honestly.
Karrion Kross and Tommaso Ciampa. I predict Karrion Kross. I'd love Ciampa to take it, but Karrion Kross, he's new. He needs the win the most.
Yeah.
And I've heard he's making main roster money on NXT, so they're pretty high on him.
I think I don't think there's a wrong answer or a wrong decision to this match. Any winner could be great, but I think they're gonna give it to Ciampa because they want to swerve the audience a little bit, kind of like saying like, oh, see, like just because someone's an up and coming star, we're not gonna just get him over right away. And Ciampa, like he's so loyal to NXT to the point where he says that like if he gets drafted to the main roster, he'll retire and become or something like that. So I think they're gonna give Ciampa a bone and give him a W for this weekend, but we shall see.
Should be good,
yeah. We shall. Yeah, should be a great show. 2 weeks ago on AEW, we had Mike Tyson and Chris Jericho go at it in a really awesome brawl. Oh, I see that. Well, what's your thoughts on that?
Great idea, right? Like, I love it. I love how they recreated the Austin and Tyson moment. And, plus Chris Jericho. He's like, he's such a professional. He's trying to make it as good as he can. And there's like Tyson, man. Like the shirt, him ripping the shirt, it was like 5 seconds of like cringe and like awkward moments. Like during awkward moments, I just want to like disappear. And there was like 5 seconds of me watching that. I'm just like, oh my God, like it's still going on. It is still going on.
Yeah.
And imagine being Chris Jericho, like face to face, and like, man, I gotta recover this. I gotta make this look good still. And the man, as he's thinking that, Tyson is still ripping his shirt, and Tyson really didn't do anything. Instead And I think like any other human will do the same as Jericho would. That Jericho would, and just say like, okay, you look great. Okay, you look great. Like, so what?
That made me crack up. Yeah. I understand a lot of fans are against this. Obviously, if they ever got in the ring, I'm not sure if they're trying to have a match between the two. Obviously, it wouldn't be some 5-star classic, but I just feel like the feud itself leading up could be pretty fun to watch. Like, obviously, we had the moments of cringe with him trying to rip off the shirt. But after that, when they had their pull-apart brawl, that part was fun, in my opinion. So I feel like it could be a fun feud.
100%. I'm all for the feud. I'm for the match. I want this to happen. Jericho Tyson is great. And it just puts AEW in a more mainstream light more than ever because like Tyson doesn't get any bigger than that. To me, it was just like how that segment was pulled off, like how Tyson carried himself. He did little weird things. And the one thing that I didn't like during the pull away was when they were like Jericho was on the other side of the corner, and it just seemed like Jericho was just screaming out Tyson's name for the heck of it. He's just like Tyson, Tyson. Like that doesn't make sense to me. That why would you do that? But
I don't know. I think they're just trying to heckle the whole the social media part of it, where it's like I think TMZ reported on it. They just want all these mainstream people and companies just to report on it and just be like, oh my God, Jericho and Tyson, AEW. So it puts AEW on the mat. You know what I mean?
I love it.
But it's good television. But I think Orange Cassidy for now is in a feud with Jericho, and it's great television, man. It's funny as hell, but can't see what's gonna go wrong with that.
Orange Cassidy is so great, and he's so talented because I think it takes so much talent to do spectacular moves that he does with his hands in his pocket.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you saw that last segment that he had with Jake and Jericho when they both tried to attack them, and he dodged like both attacks. So having his hands in his pocket and just pulled out of the ring, man, little stuff like that is like it's really cool. As as gimmicky as people think it is. I think it's awesome, man.
I think it's great too.
Yeah. I love it. I love him too.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. And actually, most people are like, when they talk about WWE and AEW, they're like, oh, I'd love this guy from WWE to go to AEW. I love this guy from WWE to go there. And for the most part, it's like, yeah, it'd be so cool to see these guys go from WWE to AEW. But there's always been one guy on AEW I want in the WWE, and that's Orange Cassidy, because I want to see him hold the 24/7 title.
Oh,
I feel like
that would be funny.
Him and R-Truth would be like such great television. I wouldn't want to watch Raw. Give me 2 hours. Man, that's all I need.
Yeah. But I think in September, what's the pay-per-view called? All Out or All In? I was confused. All Out, yeah. So I think at All Out they'll do Tyson Jericho with some stipulation. You know what I mean? Like the loser leaves AEW or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait, what do you guys think is AEW's WrestleMania? Do you think it's Double or Nothing, or do you think it's All Out?
I want to say it's.
At first, I was thinking Double or Nothing or All Out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, and this headline could have been wrong, I didn't look into the article, but I saw a report of Cody saying Revolution was actually the one.
What?
But
really?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like it'd make more sense for Double or Nothing or All Out to be.
Yeah.
Or they could have that's their WrestleMania and SummerSlam, those two shows. And I hate comparing it to WWE. I shouldn't do that, but they're two big shows, I should say.
Yeah. I think All Out's gonna, put out a great card, but I think having Mox as your champ right now, I think Hangman Page is gonna take that All Out. They're gonna do something because at All Out you saw Jericho and Hangman, right?
That's right.
Last year, so I think it's gonna come full circle and have Hangman win the title there. I think that'll be pretty dope. But we'll see, man. Hangman's great. Like his stuff, like the whole cowboy shit thing. It's great stuff. Great gimmick.
It's a beautiful story. I love it. And you're right.
Yeah.
It would be so poetic for Hangman to win it 1 year later. And I think AEW is doing such a great job with their World Championship. Obviously, having Chris Jericho as being the first champion, that's the right call because it gets eyes on the product. And then second, he loses to someone who really, really deserves it and who people are behind, which is Jon Moxley. That was a great call. And now I can't picture the third one being anyone else than Hangman Page, who was associated with the World Championship from the beginning of AEW.
Yeah, but I think a wild card out there is Darby Allen. Like, there's so many. Like, he's so good, man. Like, I hope he wins that title one day, but he probably will. He reminds me of like Jeff Hardy and Sting.
Absolutely.
Mix of them. But yeah, it's great stuff.
I think he interviewed Matt Hardy one time, asking him about Darby Allen, and I think it was on Talk's Jericho podcast.
Yeah.
Jericho was just saying how Darby Allen is the second coming of Jeff Hardy because they're both into is it like, what did he say, like drawing or something? Like they're both into like painting, like that. And obviously Jeff has his like motocross bike and Darby has a skateboard, so it's kind of like it's
kind of the same world,
same thing. But absolutely, man. And the one thing about AEW is I love the fact that Darby Allen can enter into the World Championship picture and be taken seriously and become a threat. And AEW has built them up that way, whereas in WWE, someone who's probably Darby Allen's size, like Ricochet when he got squashed against Brock Lesnar, like people went in that match already knew what was going to happen, and you never feel that way with AEW. Yeah,
for sure. I think the way that they built him up so far, I think it's great. Like, it makes him look like he's a legit threat to the, to the company and whatever. But I think having Brian Cage as your number one contender is a good move because having Taz as like a mic piece, like it's great. It's a great way to use him, especially at his stage of the game. And I love it, man. It's great stuff. But I think, to me, that pyro at the end of Dynamite last week, like, that was kind of overkill for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I loved it personally. I love pyro. But one thing about AEW I gotta say is how you said with Brian Cage feuding with Moxley. I'm a big Jon Moxley fan, but one thing I like about him is just he feels like such a star. Like, every time he makes his entrance, it feels like something special. And especially when he's got that title around his waist So, yeah, I really want to see him feud with Hangman Page. I feel like someone who's being a little overlooked here is MJF. Now, I know it could be a little bit too early, but he has been at the top of the rankings for a while, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one to beat Mox for the title.
Yeah, man. I'm a huge MJF fan. I think he is great. He brought so much emotions out of all of us. It's really rare these days for a heel to make wrestling fans so angry. I think his turn against Cody was beautiful. The fact that, he was the one that threw in the towel. And because of him, Cody can't have another shot at the world championship and ending up, I believe, gave him a low blow, right? Like that's what he did at the end.
Yeah.
So that was well done. Long-term storytelling at his best. And to me, he's way better than the comparison I'm about to make. But people will associate MJF with WWE's Miz, right? They're both kind of like they all talk, cocky and all that. But I think MJF is way better, obviously, and he just makes you believe. And he's like such a great heel. Like that picture of him flipping off that little kid during like a meet and greet, like that was awesome, man. Like true. I think he's copying Jericho's lead that he never breaks kayfabe when he's heel. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that. And keeping the kayfabe alive it's so fun. I actually have a theory too. If MJF does win the title, if they ever do want to get Cody back in the world title picture, I say MJF wins the title and Cody says, "Listen, you're the reason I can't challenge for it. How's this? Me and you for the title. If I lose, my career is on the line."
Ooh, I love that. Yeah, definitely want to see that because it'll be a shame if Cody never wins the world championship, man. Like I think that needs to happen. And I know AEW is really good on their word and they're very passionate about that. Enforcing stipulations, but man, like I'm okay if they find a loophole and like have Cody champion. Like I'm okay. I'm not gonna get mad.
Yeah. I just feel like if they do want it to happen, that's the way to do it. I feel like that's the perfect way.
Yeah, I think Cody's, already an established talent, so I don't think he needs the world title right now. I think he needs like the mid-card title, the TNT title is perfect for him. So I think having a good like 6-month, 8-month run with that, like it's perfect because then he said himself like the open challenge is open like anybody. So like guys from Japan, you know what I mean? They can come in, Okada and you know what I mean? Okada and Cody. Like imagine that. That would be dope.
Yeah. Did you guys hear because I didn't really watch the full pay-per-view, but when they came out with the TNT Championship, is it true that Jim Ross said the TNT Championship isn't done due to COVID? That's true. The reason why it looks like how it looks right now.
Yeah.
So when is the finished championship going to be done? Do you guys know?
They didn't make an announcement. I'm assuming once like the whole COVID thing blows over a little bit more, because I believe the person who's constructing the championship, once we went into quarantine, they had to construct other things like that are actually like a little bit more useful like to the world. But I've seen some like pictures of what it was allegedly supposed to look like. Yeah, and it looks nice. Like the pictures I saw.
Is it a red strap?
It's still a red strap, but the plates are gold and there's a lot more detail.
No way! Oh man,
it looks pretty nice. Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait. That's gonna be great. Because I was laughing at some of the fans' remarks when that came out. Everyone was like, "Man, that's like the custom championship I make." And I can be better.
Yeah. Speaking of stars, Matt Riddle, man, what do you think he's gonna do on SmackDown? I mean, tonight SmackDown.
Yeah, I think it's great, and I love how like Kurt Angle is kind of like the one that like introduces him. But man, he's already a legitimate star just because he's a shoot fighter. Like he can like kick your ass, man, like an MMA. So he kind of has that Kurt Angle vibe going on, where like he can do the silliest, stupidest thing that Kurt Angle would do, like with the stupid cowboy hat. Basically, he can do whatever he wants and still have that respect because of his main background. And I think having him on SmackDown just shakes things up for the main roster and for SmackDown. It's such a, it's it's so the world, the COVID-19, it's horrible with everything that's going on. And I also feel bad for WWE because let's say that WWE, like what we're seeing on television right now, is what they planned all along, but with an audience. I think it's a blessing in disguise because guys like Austin Theory, you know, and then now getting that light. I feel like mainstream roster on Raw and SmackDown is so different than it was a couple of months ago before WrestleMania. Right. And that might be due to wrestlers not wanting to show up, or maybe that was WWE's original plan in the beginning to push these guys. I don't know, but I like how they're giving young guys like them, you know, a mainstream light. And I think it's great with Matt Riddle. It's a new era. I think this is like another new era for us. You know, you know, when Enzo and Big Cass came with the with
Carmelo?
Yeah, like that was kind of labeled as like era of like new young guys. I think right now is another era that's about to be born with guys like Austin Theory, Matt Riddle, and Angel, you know. So I think it's gonna be so refreshing. I know he's gonna bring more eyes to SmackDown.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I hope he wins the world title within like a couple of years, and I hope he retires Brock Lesnar. Like that would be the cherry on top of the cake. But yeah, I can't wait to see what the future holds for that kid. But
I want to see Goldberg first before Brock Lesnar because they're like like legit. I want to see that match.
That would be awesome.
I want to see Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah.
I want to see him face Goldberg or Brock or both in the fight pit match that he faced Timothy Thatcher in. NXT.
Yeah, that
man,
would be dope.
That match was brutal. It really was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And what a way to go out too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Taking this on a personal note right now. I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
I found you through Darren's Instagram a couple months ago, and I noticed that you guys started a podcast. What made you start a podcast with Darren? Like, what was the motive behind that?
Well, I think I had to go back to when I first met him, because you know I've been a wrestling fan since like I was like 5, man. Like just never got out of a hardcore wrestling fan. Would go to all the shows and still into wrestling right now, as you guys can tell. But I have a Shih Tzu dog named Junior who doesn't like to walk. Like that's just his thing. He doesn't like walking. So one day I'm like, Junior, like let's be a dog, man. Let's walk today. And the day that I walked him was the day that Fred actually moved in because he's my neighbor.
Oh yeah.
And when I saw him, I was like, oh shit, Darren Young. Like what the hell is going on right now? And I usually I don't want to like interrupt people, or like I'm not the type to be like, hey man, especially when they're not in their workspace. Like I don't want to like disrupt them. But he was already making eye contact with me, so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and we're the only ones in the street too, so you know what I mean. So passing by, and I told him, hey, like Darren Young, I'm a big fan. You know, it's my dog Junior, and can we take a picture? And that's how we started keeping in touch through Instagram and everything. And we're neighbors all the time, so like whenever he needs something, like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And it just became a great friendship. And he actually was offered to do a podcast a few times by other people, and he was still kind of like iffy about it. And he asked me like, if I were to do a podcast, would you want to be like a host for it too? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Then we forgot about it, and you know, life goes on. But then afterwards, I was like, man, like I wanted to do a podcast, like a wrestling podcast. And I remembered Fred asking like if I would down to do podcasts with him. So I brought it up with him again, and like he was absolutely down. And you know, when me and Fred talk, it's about wrestling 90% of the time anyway. So I figured like, man, let's just press record. You know, I promise, man. Like the second time I hung out with Fred, we were at a like cafe, and like we got there at noon and we left at 6 p.m. just like talking about wrestling, New Japan matches, like things like that. So that's how we started the podcast. And it's therapeutic for the both of us, you know, because I don't have too many friends that watches wrestling, so I can't get all of this out to people. So it's nice to have that guarantee that once a week I get to vent everything that I feel that's going on in the wrestling world with a WWE veteran. I mean, how I still get starstruck, man. Like even though
that's crazy,
and like he's my neighbor, but it's like, dude, it's still Darren Young, you know?
Yeah. So you said you've been watching wrestling since you were 5 years old. What exactly got you into wrestling? Do you remember?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born in Indonesia and Jakarta, and at that time we only had 6 channels, and it would be news, Simpsons, and like other news. But one time I was flipping through the channel, and I think I saw WCW Saturday Night, and I think it was Alex Wright doing a sunset flip, and I remember that moment thinking like, what was that? Like, what did I just see? Like, this isn't an action movie. That looks like it's happening live, and it's one take. And ever since then, I gravitated to it, and then I started watching Sting and Hulk Hogan when Hulk Hogan was in WCW. Then it's weird because I watched WCW first before WWF, but then I watched WWF, and I was a WWF guy from that point on, and I still am. I became the biggest Shawn Michaels mark ever.
Oh yeah.
During the his first championship run, his Intercontinental Championship run, he was my guy. Like, I would cry when he would lose. Because the whole time, and when you're a kid, you think the whole thing's like a shoot, right?
Shoot, yeah.
I was so heartbroken when Bader would be beating him up, or Bulldog and Owen. I'm like, no, Shawn, come on, you got this. So like he brought so much emotion out of me, and of course the Attitude Era, man. Now I got more friends that watches it with me, with Rock and Austin, and I would go to events with them, and I just stuck with it, and it's something it's weird because I feel like 80% I'm always thinking wrestling in my head. And obviously
here.
I also collect like action figures, and I play WWE 2K20 all the time. So I have my, I'm a booker in WWE 20, set up my own storyline there, So
I do the same thing, man. Universe mode, maybe your personal GM mode. It's fun for sure. Yeah. It's funny how you talked about like being so passionate about Shawn Michaels, because I was really passionate about John Cena. That was my guy growing up.
Sure.
And I vividly remember WrestleMania 28, right? So I didn't have the channel. So on my birthday, I got the WrestleMania 28 DVD. I'm like, whoa, John Cena faced The Rock.
Yeah.
And I remember he lost to The Rock,
right.
And I cried on my own birthday because John Cena lost to The Rock.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, but
you were part of that montage, because I remember when Cena lost, there's so many YouTube videos of little kids like crying, like their parents and they're like, no. So you might be one of those, man.
Yeah.
But you bet WrestleMania 29, I was one of the happiest kids ever when Cena got that win back.
Yeah, and it's poetic too, right? The way he won, because he learned from his mistake. It was like the people's elbow, and this time we're like, nope, not this time. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot of interviews on your page. Who's your favorite person to interview?
Man, this is okay. I just, politically correct, all of them, right? Like, I love all my guests, but I didn't have there was something special about the Heath Slater interview, because right off the bat, I didn't feel like I was interviewing a wrestler. I felt like I was just talking to another person. Right when the video popped up, it was just kind of like you were FaceTiming with a friend that you haven't seen in a while. And there were times when Fred actually got disconnected, and it was still like me and Heath talking, and he still wanted to roll. And he was like talking, he was just as invested in me and my thoughts and opinions than he is with Fred's. And I thought that was really cool. And, a lot of people say a lot of good things about Heath, that he's just like a fun-loving guy, nothing bad to say about him. And I experienced that, and he's like, I was already a fan. And to be honest with you guys, the Heath Slater interview was the only interview that I was nervous. Like I was, before, after, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but he's like, cool, man. Like, I'm a big fan, but we're gonna have a great conversation. But when Fred told me that we were interviewing Heath, I'm like, oh man.
Oh my God, it hit you.
I hope I don't say anything stupid,
Yeah. That's how I felt about all my interviews, including this one. I was like, dude, I got, PJ Black, Fred, TJ Perkins, and you, and I was like, I can't screw up. This can either make us, or it's can either break us. You know what I mean? So yeah, man.
And TJ is also a great guy too. He's definitely someone that I also want to interview. We DM each other a few times, and we were actually supposed to go to like this like Asian brand trip like a long time ago. Like I met his manager and a bunch of trip with like influencers, and it was like a round trip to the Philippines and all that. And I was supposed to go on the same trip with him, but like things didn't work out on my end. But that'd be so cool to spend like 2 weeks with TJ, right? And just like meet him with wrestling questions.
yeah, he's a great guy. Cause even after we finished recording the interview, he talked to us for like another 10 minutes because we told him like we want to be wrestlers. He gave us some great advice.
You guys want to be wrestlers?
Yeah, both of us.
That's amazing. No way. That's really cool, man. Wait, how old are you guys?
I'm 18.
I'm 17.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. That's crazy. I had no idea. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it works out, man. Like, I don't know if it will 100%, but I feel like with the right support that we interview a lot of guys so far, and then including you. So I feel like having all the support on our end, we can put it on, like we can put on the mat basically and just kind of roll with it, if that makes sense. And then see what happens.
You gotta say it will work out then rather than it hopes.
For it
to work out. So you gotta say like it's a fact, because once it's in here, like that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So what are do you guys have any future goals with the Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast?
Oh man, like when we first started the podcast, we wanted to. At first, our idea was like to find like a network and do it inside of a studio and everything. And I have my own manager and agency, not for wrestling stuff, but for my own like things. And we're in the talks for that. But I kind of like the way it is right now because to me, of course, I want Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast to be successful, but I still want to prioritize it also being fun for me and Fred too, So I think my goal would just to have more amazing guests on our show and continue talking about wrestling for as long as we can. And if other things fall into our lap, then we will welcome it, But our main priority and goal is for us to keep having fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think just having fun in that aspect, that's what's the driving force behind the whole creative process, and it gets creative juices flowing, and it's just like hey, if we have this and that, we can make more out of it. You know what I mean? So I think just having a WWE veteran on your side, it's just like it's a huge boost, man.
And let me tell you, man, like I get a lot of stories off camera from him that's like, woo, only people knew. We just want to thank you for joining us, man, and taking the time out of your day. And
where can we find you on social media?
Social media on Instagram, atelagaarta, ATELAGAARTA, and on YouTube, just my name, Arnold Telagaarta, and at Pro and Bro Wrestling on Instagram, and Pro and Bro Wrestling on YouTube and iTunes. So there you go. That's the whole spiel.
All right, man. Thank you so much, and take care, man. Hope you enjoy SmackDown.
Absolutely. Nice meeting you guys. Thank you for this. Appreciate it.
For sure.
Yeah, you too.